an afternoon of football. Anything can happen in football. Adrian said, wow, that is so true today.
We did say beforehand that, you know, wouldn't put it past something crazy happening in this game just because of what's gone on before in the previous matches. And, you know, Morocco, who have become a team that are, you know, kind of got everybody on their side with the way they've played, with their energy, with their, you know, the odds against them, and they've come out and done it again. And it was almost a perfect performance. First half went in attack, second half defended, rode their luck at times, but stuck at it. And, you know, you got to give credit to them. They were excellent. They worked so hard defensively in the second half. They put in an absolute shift.
It's extraordinary how they held out. I mean, they were down without two of their first choice defenders. They lost their captain. They were down to 10 men for the final few moments, and still.
Yeah, really good, Claire. That's how they played. How they played in the second half there. It wasn't. That was how they played against Spain for 90 minutes. So they were battle hardened. They knew what had to do. They were happy to sit there and watch Portugal go from side to side. Just a fabulous performance. Everyone, you don't like when you say it's a team. It was a team performance. No one. I don't like to single out to him, but Amrabat again was just colossal. But all of them were, you know, he has the whole team on the same page. First half, a different style of play. They came out and they created chances and they played some really good football. Second half, sat in, defended for their lives, but really good defending. Still, the keeper Bono didn't have too many. I can't remember having to make one really good save from Ronaldo, but he didn't have a whole lot to do. Just unbelievable, like a home match for them. You know, they've flown over thousands to the game, put on flights to get them over. Fabulous from the first African country.
First African country, first Arab country ever to get to this stage.
And they deserved it, didn't they? Like, it wasn't a fluke. No. They've played really well through the group. Croatia topped their group. Belgium, Croatia, Canada group, then beat Spain. And now,
like, Portugal scored 6 in the last game. We were talking about how creative Portugal are. Like, they have Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, then you brought Cristiano off the bench, João Felix, Leao, Ramos scored a hat-trick in the last match. They have players that score goals and they know how to get into those forward areas. Spain lack different that, but they stifle them completely. And in the end, Portugal were not doing anything they normally do. They're shifting the ball, they were playing long balls, but they weren't playing them with quality. They were overhitting them, they were hitting the first man on their crosses. They stifled them. And look, this is the coach getting all the plaudits here again, and he deservedly so, because he has every single one of those players playing for their team. And look at the scenes. This is sensational. They've created history, an amazing performance from a team like you said, lost 3 of their starting defenders within the match. You know, unbelievable stuff.
Incredible to see them throwing him in the air again. I mean, he's only been in the job 4 months. He didn't qualify them to get here.
No, listen, he was a good manager in the past. He's won the African Champions League. He's no mug. He has them playing. As good a defensive performance as I've seen in years. In 2 games. Sorry, not just in the 1 game, and not fluky, not lucky. I mean, organised, defensive, solid, with a structure, and to play out then and break and counter-attack. You know, it's lovely playing nice football. But that is proper. That gives hope to every country that it's not about the players you have, it's about the sum of your parts and what you can get out of them.
We can see what it means to the supporters, to the team, to everyone involved. What does it mean, though, to world football, to this tournament?
It sends shockwaves, doesn't it? Again, you're knocking out another huge team, and I think Portugal were much... they had much more rounded of a side than they have been in a while. Better players all over the pitch playing at such a high level. It wasn't reliant on Ronaldo. As you see, he didn't even start the match. So if we would have felt that they were in a better position to go further in the tournament as a team, and to knock them out on the back of them winning 6-1 in the last game and being so confident going into this one, it's absolutely enormous. In the semi-final, you got to just give such credit to them, and the way they went about their business. The second half, they got their goal by playing great football, and even in the second half they had 2 breakaway chances where they probably should have scored, and they counter-attacked really quickly with pace. And Portugal were lucky not to be 2-0 down, but then they stifled them, they stopped them, they put pressure on them, and they just forced Portugal to play this really unattractive football in and around the front of them. They didn't let them get behind them, and then when the keeper was needed, the great save from João Felix, which was on his right hand, and then another one, and it was...
From Ronaldo.
Save. So,
you'd expect them to have been a lot busier over the course of 90 minutes. They did such a good job at nullifying. That's a Portugal team who scored 6 only a few days ago, and everyone's raving about Ramos and, this team could win the World Cup.
He didn't touch the ball.
He didn't, no. I'm surprised they took him off, actually. When they were putting balls into the box, half the Portuguese team stood on the edge of the box wanting the perfect pass. You wanted someone to get in there. You think he'd leave on the 2 strikers for the last 20 minutes, give them half a chance, but just really impressive all over the pitch. gives us all hope. Gives Ireland hope. It can be done.
And in the space of a game from Portugal, like you say, they had roared into the conversation as contenders, and then we see the extraordinary scenes of Ronaldo in tears going down the tunnel.
Yeah, this is last ever World Cup. He's not going to get an opportunity to play in a competition like this again, and you can see that this competition means probably more to most players. You can see the emotion. You see Lewandowski when he got his one goal. He scored 635 before that, and he gets that one goal. It breaks him down. Everybody wants to perform in the World Cup. Everybody wants to do it for their country because it's different to playing for your club. It doesn't come around that often. And you can just tell it means so much. So for him to have gone away on the back of a game where he felt, even if he wasn't playing, they should have got a result. But Morocco were the better side over the course of the game, and they deserve to be there.
Yeah, they certainly do. Morocco soaking it all up, and well they might. What will England and France, I doubt they're probably not looking on right at this moment, but what will they make of it?
Well, they won't be taking them lightly,
No.
that's for sure. Listen, played Spain. I said, listen, I think they'll do a job here and beat Spain. I didn't tonight. I didn't think they had it in them to go again against Portugal, and how well Portugal had played. I'm just disappointed myself for not giving them enough respect to see them play like that again tonight. Just a joy. And whoever they play now in the next game will be giving them the utmost respect, and it'll be a really, really difficult game for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, an extraordinary afternoon, folks. So let's get to look back at some of the game's key moments. And, of course, the key moment is that goal. Yeah,
it's a fantastic header. It really is. En-Nesyri. And he had two chances prior to that he gets wrong. Probably one of them is a better chance, but they work it really well here down the middle of the park. And Onani is really well, gets out the left-hand side. And it's the fullback who replaces Mazraoui, just stands up there. And look at this run. The leap on him is brilliant. Gets in ahead of the goalkeeper. Again, loads of question marks about Costa. What is he doing? Why is he coming out with his eyes closed? But the spring, the determination, and you tell people to go and attack the ball, and that's what he does. He gets there first, wins it.
Look at the height of him.
It's unreal. He's so far off the ground. And it's deserved at this point. It really is a great goal from him. Absolute, you look at them, the emotion, the team must be buzzing at this point, and they go on to hold on, which is unbelievable.
That was totally different to the second half there. They played good football there in the build up to that goal and got people forward and in the box. You know, they weren't just sitting back, as people might tune in later or whatever and see him sitting back for 90 minutes. It wasn't like that. They were the equal to Portugal in the first half.
Yeah, no doubt the Moroccans are buzzing. They really did show that fight, didn't they?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. In the last few games, honestly, he was a man possessed in and out of the ball. There's nothing he couldn't do. I can't imagine he'd be hanging around in Serie A too much longer.
No chance.
Not when he can speak English.
No, we're joking off air.
Let's take a look at that heroic defending then.
Yeah, all over the pitch. And they needed to be. And they showed it time after time. And it's not a fluke. It's well organised. Everybody covering for each other. One gets beat, the other goes. Not afraid to get rid of it when they have to get rid of it. But most of the time, they play out from the back and play quickly. Look at this battling here. And look at the numbers they have back. From 98 minutes, or whatever this game was, to show the energy. I thought after the Spain game and in the second half of the Spain game they'd be getting tired and more chance to be created, and I thought the same tonight, and it wasn't. They were able to cover, and the three good defenders, Saiss coming off in the second half, and you go, okay, this might cause them trouble. Now you're three down of your starting back four. Didn't matter to them. There's Amrabat there again, out. He's everywhere on the pitch. They were just a joy to see. Really, really good defending. You can talk about attacking players and all good football, and it's great to see. Sometimes it's nice just to see really good, organised, solid defending.
It is. It's not like they just defended by sitting loads of bodies behind the ball. They actually went and defended properly. They went there, got close to people, they closed them down, they shut their channels, and then look at the position there. There's four people in a line picking up every angle that the ball can come into, and then the midfielder coming back getting the second ball. This is the one time the ball gets played behind. Ronaldo gets on and strikes it. Keeper saves it, but who's the first to react? There's a defender there first. There's another defender coming in behind. He can't get to the second ball. Every time they went, the one-on-one defending at times from the fullbacks was brilliant, getting their bodies in the way, getting low. All over the pitch, but the central midfielder, Amrabat, I think he's in the team of the tournament so far in the middle of the park as a central deep midfielder.
Is their style of defence different to other teams in the tournament?
They just seem to enjoy it more, don't they? It's part of them. They have no problem defending, no problem getting people behind the ball. And that's great, getting people behind the ball, but being able to play afterwards, and they're able to play. They're able to play out. They're like counter-attacking. Every player buys into it. Ziyech is one that it was a question mark beforehand. The other manager previously didn't like him, didn't think he bought into it. Well, he's buying into it now. Every player has to, for it to work, every player has to do it. And they're doing it with joy and a smile on their face against the best.
Coming into this, Portugal had scored 12 goals, 8 different scorers. They had a host of chances today. Yeah,
they had a host of chances. But it wasn't a few headers, clear cut, and then the goalkeeper. This is in the first half. Felix cross in, set play, gets a decent header. Keeper again, comfortable save from him. Another opportunity here, heads out, picks up Felix again. Volley, takes a deflection, ends up going slightly wide. But you know, Portugal have an extreme abundance of attacking talent and creative players. So for them not to create chances would have been really weird. This is Fernandez at a really tight angle.
Clear
there's not clear. No, it's not on a play. Open, they've pulled them apart, open up. It's all is set up, it's a chance. This one here is probably one of the best ones. Ramos gets in for him on a play from in the middle of the park, should really hit the target. Fernandez, edge of the box here, smashes it over from distance again. Ronaldo, how often you see him set people like that again. Felix comes around and whips it in, and Bono, what a fantastic save. And every time he was asked to make a contribution, he stepped up. This one here from Pepe, dying for him into the game. Over his head, Ronaldo's diving in, he gets there and he puts it wide. So they were obviously going to create chances to have that much possession second half of all, but it was nothing really clear cut. They didn't really pull them apart and have a gaping opportunity. And when he did have a decent shot, the goalkeeper stood up to it. So all over the pitch, they really showed a desire to not let the ball in, but Portugal didn't do enough. They were poor in firing balls into the box at times, and they lacked a lot of creativity, which we would have expected from them to have. Yeah, so what's happened to this new era, this bright new dawn that dawned the last day?
It was a new era for 90 minutes against Switzerland, and it's gone again. Oh, listen, you have to give credit to the opposition as well. They got to, listen, Portugal in the World Cup quarter-final. Are we at this stage? My head has gone a bit mushy. World Cup quarter-final, they get beat 1-0. You know, I wouldn't say it's the end of the world for them at all. It's the end of the road for Pepe. It's the end of the road for Ronaldo, but that was coming anyway. I'd still say there's plenty there to say there's a bright future. The manager probably always been there, I think, 2 or 3 tournaments at this stage. So, you know, getting to a World Cup quarter-final, country size of Portugal, they've decent league. It's where they probably should be, but I don't think it's the end of the world that they've been knocked out from them. I think these players are still young enough. Average age of that team was very young, even with a 39-year-old in Pepe starting, so they've plenty to look forward to going into the future. What about the
Ronaldo factor? Obviously, so much headlines, you know, before the tournament, during the tournament, but the decision then it seemed to have been made. But you know, was it a distraction overall in the camp? How do you view it?
Up until this point, it wasn't really a distraction. And obviously, when he took him out of firing line, dropped him from the team, they seemed to have a massive bounce from it. So they went on and won really comfortably. So going into this game, you felt it was going to be the same. But then we were off air talking about it. You felt there was a moment that he was going to be used and it would be a big impact. But they didn't play to his strengths at all. They didn't. The balls into the box were not what they needed. They weren't. And when they were getting in, there was him isolated. They didn't. They were just passing in front of him and then knocking balls off the pitch. They didn't do what they need to do. So, from Portugal's point of view, it was probably a missed opportunity to have a player like that on the pitch, where you know his strengths are getting balls into the area, finding them, not turning those chances down. And they didn't do that in the second half. They played in front of Morocco, and that was based on their shape as well. But from Ronaldo's point of view, like, this is his last World Cup, and it's not gone anywhere near like he would have wanted. And then he's going to look at the person he judges himself off in Messi, who has led his team on to the next stage, and that's where he's going to compare himself, and he's fallen short.
So Fernando Santos didn't use his resources wisely then, really, today?
I think he didn't have some of the options off the bench. I'm thinking of the Dutch last night. You know, they abandoned all football and, you know what, hit big diags up to the tall man. Yeah. They needed... Portugal went like that from about 90th to the 98th minute. Yeah. They created a chance for Pepe right at the end. They started putting a few balls into the box, putting numbers into the box. They didn't do that up to the 90th minute. They tried, like Spain, to score the perfect goal against Morocco, and as is proven for Spain, that's not possible. It
has been quite the day for Morocco at the World Cup. They are into the semi-finals. Stephen, let's have a look at their second half chances as well, because they really could have sealed it.
Yeah, 2 breakaway chances. They still, when they won it back, and this guy in the middle of the park was causing problems, but gets put through here, and fantastic breaking down the left-hand side, comes across, should really pass it, but takes a shot on, and then This is the other one. One long ball over the top, it breaks, and this is a carry. It goes through on goal. He should try and slot. He tries to be too clever and thinking. You can see his whole team are thinking, what is he doing? But, that was an unbelievable chance to put the game to bed. It would have been 2-0 up and would have been a long way back for Portugal, and that onslaught would have been harder. But, he missed that chance. But it just showed there is still an attacking threat, even in the dying stages of the game.
Okay, Kevin, you're going to step up to our box, to our pulpit, and show us about the deficiencies, really, I suppose, in the Portuguese attack.
Listen, this could be the Spain game as well, to be honest with you. Portugal, and I'm talking about teams trying to score the perfect goal. And the frustration for me, it's the 75th minute here. And it goes out to the... It's not the best ball in the world. But Ronaldo, edge of the box, edge of the box, edge of the box. They brought off Ramos. He would have been in there. You need to get people across the front. You need to get people in the box. They tried for 75 minutes to score the perfect goal. They couldn't. At this stage, there's no one coming behind, no one backing them up. You need people running across the front. You need defenders trying to block you. It'll pop out then to Fernandes or whoever, and they'll get a goal. But teams trying to score against the perfect goal against Morocco, and it's just not possible, as they've proved. And that, to me, is a frustration in modern football in general, about teams not getting into those areas, causing defenders problems, dragging defenders across the front stick when you can get OGs, you can get... The only one I'm thinking about was Ramos the other night. If he'd have been still on the pitch against Switzerland, he scored a goal from that very similar position. I think the manager should have left him on up top with Ronaldo. OK, so who will Morocco, the newly confident Morocco, want to see in the semi-finals? England and France, of course, coming up later.
Honestly, I think at this stage, they're not going to be worried. They're going to, either side, England and France both pose unbelievable threats, but they've got so far being the way they've been. They're going to go into this game. This is another free hit for them. They don't have anything to prove to anybody. They can go out and play their game, and if they perform the way they have done, they can progress again, and they shouldn't fear anybody with the way they're playing.
I'm sure they will not.